A life together shattered by a drunk driver.
Jared and Paige Estes were married just 6 months when a drunk driver plowed into their car. Paige was killed, Jared badly burned. He was rushed to the hospital not knowing what happened to his wife. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Morrow shows us what happened next.
A fiery car crash on Kellogg. It burns half of Jared Estes' body and puts him into a coma. But when he comes to, he has one big question. What happened to Paige, the love of his life, the girl he's been married to just 6 months, who had been sitting next to him when the accident happened? Well, Jared's about to find out. In a coma here at Via Christi St. Francis for the past 2 weeks, he finally wakes up.
People started coming through my room, and after each person left, I would ask, "Where's Paige?" And the next person would come in and talk to them, and then I'd say, "Where's Paige?" And they'd kind of blow it off just a little bit. And then finally the last person came through, and my dad closed the door, and he told me that she didn't make it and that she didn't get out of the car. I was on an amazing amount of drugs at the time, too. And even with all that, it was amazingly sobering to hear that, you know, and all the drugs in the world can't make that pain any better.
The only thing Jared can think of doing is saying, "You know the way." He didn't even get to go to her funeral because it happened while he was still in a coma.
I needed to get to her grave because I knew that was as close as I could get to her, you know, without actually being with her. So, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just yammering, but.
But before going anywhere, Jared has a lot of work to do. His face severely scarred, his ear gone, half his body burned beyond belief.
I was in pretty bad shape, you know. I knew just from the way people looked at me, because I, you know, couldn't see myself. My fingers just looked like sausages. They were just massive. This was just so flared up on this side of my face, and everything was so red, and it was still bleeding for a long time.
Soon the bleeding stops, and with the help of these, what Jared calls torture devices, some very dedicated physical therapists, and a lot of hard work, Jared finally makes a trip he's been thinking about since coming out of his coma. He's back in Buckland, beside Paige's grave.
Honestly, it was miserable at first because I could not grieve the way I wanted to. I wanted to grab piles of this dirt. I just wanted to take these dirt clods in my hands, and I wanted to slam them on the ground, and I wanted to yell at the sky, and I wanted to give I just wanted to throw a fit worthy of Paige, you know, the one that I had dreamed about in the hospital.
Jared doesn't throw that fit. He's still badly injured. All he can do is sit there and reflect on their memories together. Did you ever think you'd have to be out here at this point in your life?
Nope. Honestly, ever since we've been together, ever since I've known her, ever since I've loved her, I always thought this would be me, and she'd be standing here, and we'd argue about it, you know, about who was going to go first, because neither one of us wanted to live without the other one.
From Jared.
Well, now Jared has to live without the other, and it's all because of this man, Louis Keebert, recently sentenced to 23 years in prison for killing Paige, the third time he's been convicted for driving under the influence.
One of the things that drives me to get through this and to get better and to not give up is that I will not be your victim, Louis. I will not be your victim. It's been pretty rocky. As far as my injuries go, I've pretty much been hiding under this boonie cap for about 1.5 years because half my face was pretty much burned off and my ear's gone.
It was crazy. I honestly, I did not know what I was going to say beforehand, because I was going to let my friends and family speak first, and I wanted to see what they were going to say, because I didn't want to repeat what they were going to say. And if I put it on paper, things that have happened in my life, it just looks so cold. It looks so cold, you know. It's kind of like, you know, Danae out window, Deline burned, Paige dead, me hospital. You know, it's like if I line out my story, it just looks so cold.
None of this is easy for Jared. Going to court, rehab, or the cemetery, but it's what he has to do to get on with life and keep his wife's memory alive.
This right here is her little buddy. He comes over all the time. People bring Paige peeps, and he comes over and eats them. Paige was just so beautiful. She was so amazing. So to have that ripped away and to have her ripped out, you know, the world is just crazy.
Tomorrow night, Jared shares his memories of Paige and talks about how he's working to put the accident behind him.